Hey guys, it's Courtney from Cosmic Clarity Astrology, and today we're going to be talking about the rare conjunction of Chiron and the North Node in the sign of Aries that's happening on February 19th. So the North Node is a point that is based off of how we are meant to grow as a society. And it can show essentially our soul's evolution, where there is a focal point, and where we might have a little bit more difficulty attaining something or reaching for something. Occasionally, it can also talk about something that is exaggerated. And we'll talk about kind of how that plays into this in a second. We also have Chiron, obviously next to the North Node, and Chiron is an asteroid that is related to healing. It's called the Wounded Healer. If you want to learn more about Chiron, I do have a video specifically talking about it, which I'll link down in the description box below. And we'll cover, in that video, we cover what Chiron is, what it is in each sign, and why it's significant. But in this case, all you need to know is that Chiron has three phases. It is the wound, it is the wounded, and it is a healer. So it can represent basically anything to do with the cycle of wounding, healing, and growth. And I oftentimes see Chiron very heavily linked in both synastry, so relationship charts, and especially marriage charts, especially with Venus. And I also see Chiron very heavily implicated in transits when people are discovering their soul's true purpose, because if you discover your purpose, it's often through things not going according to plan, or sometimes healers will find that they step into their role as a healer because of things that have gone wrong. Usually healers are the ones dealing with things that are really challenging in life, and so they have tools to offer people as a result of those challenges. Also, side note, Chiron is typically very strong in people's charts that are healers. So they will have it conjunct a planet, conjunct an angle, and just really relevant in general. Okay, so what is it like to have these together? So basically, this is describing the healing journey around the sign of Aries, which is very much around the ego and the masculine energy. So I was pulling cards around this and I kept getting the word ego over and over and over again. And Aries is about the self. It's the very first sign of the zodiac. It's where we are coming into our body and coming into awareness of ourself. And so one of the first things that makes us human is that we come into our awareness of the self through ego. Ego is what creates that separateness, that sense of self that we don't have as a soul. As a soul, maybe we have that. I mean, I don't really know. I don't have a way to tap into that knowledge for sure. But my sense is that we are feeling more of this oneness and unity and connection to the divine, which is more of a Neptune energy. Then when we are born into our physical bodies, we are representative of more of the Mars or the Capricorn, Saturn energy, where we are, or the sun as well, where we are coming into our ego, our identity, our material dense reality, the sense of boundaries and separateness, the sense of self and essence, and being able to see the differences with others and ourselves. And that is exactly what I think is super important in this world. Everyone shits on the ego, but the ego is very, very necessary. If we don't have a strong ego, or I should say a healthy ego, then we can really lose our consciousness into the void. We can have trouble discerning ourselves from others. We can have trouble with boundaries. We can have trouble with knowing what is right and wrong for us at certain times, because there's so much compassion, there's so much unity, regardless. So having Chiron and the North Node in Aries is trying to bring healing around this ego, because at times we can have these kind of unhealthy egoic defenses come up. So really how I see this is we're healing the essence of the ego that is coming out in a little bit of this unhealthy way. And I pulled this archetype card that was talking about the king, and it was saying that there are two types of kings, and they're all kind of rooted in the ego. One is a selfless ego, and then one is a selfish ego. And oftentimes, one of the qualities of Aries is to be quite selfish, because it is centered around defining the self. So the selfish ego is going to be the person that is really focused on them getting what they want, to have power, to have control despite others, to hold something over other people to protect their ego and their image, to maintain what they have, regardless of how other people are being treated. And there's a sense of oppression that can come with this. There is a fear and a weakness inside of that energy as well, because if you're moving from that place of fear, there's this instability. And then there's the strong or healthy ego that's coming from a place of realizing that you are a vessel, you are part of the divine, you are playing a role, you are being chosen for that role, and it's not about you necessarily, although there is a specialness, there is a uniqueness in you, and there's a self that is separate and needs to be witnessed in a healthy way. But that self is also being used for a larger purpose, a larger mission, and it's not about that individual self in this tapestry of human life. And this healthy ego is what creates a unified world. It's what creates peace, but through recognizing its own empowerment, through recognizing its own individuality. So a lot of times this Aries energy is, when wounded, which is what we're seeing with Chiron being in Aries, it's showing the wound around Aries, is we can feel sometimes too selfless, where we're like, okay, no, it's about everybody else. South Node in Libra. The detriment of this. Let me prioritize everyone else above myself. Let me please everybody and lose myself. That's going to be the case for some people. Or it could be with the wounding in areas where you feel like you're not good enough. You're not recognizing your specialness. You're not seeing your differences and what makes you unique and good at what you do. You're not seeing the impact that you can have. And so there's this trepidation, this hesitation, this fear, this inability to act because of this inner critic. And yeah, just not having that healthy sense of strong ego, which I think does have some sense of pride to it. Another way this can show up is being exaggerated. With Chiron and Aries, we can have this super toxic masculinity. We can have the, toxic elements of the patriarchy, of wanting to dominate another person, of wanting to have the final say, protect the ego at all costs, the image, everything that I was just mentioning a second ago. And it can be, again, quite selfish, quite hot-headed, quite temperamental, quite impulsive, and maybe even violent, because Aries is a violent sign. It's ruled by Mars, the planet of war. And this is very much centered also around the development of men and masculinity in our day and age, because, again, Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of men. So there's something here where there's a wounding in the masculine that needs to be healed, and maybe some of the men are falling in one of these camps. And there might be more expressions of this. So I invite you to explore what you think, especially in the comments down below. If you have an idea, I would love to hear what you have to say, because I know that there's so much more here. I feel that it's there, but it's hard to think of everything in the moment. So I'm sure there are other ways in which the wounded masculine is coming out within us. The wounded ego is coming out within our society, either by giving our power to others, or by dominating others, or by not doing anything at all. And so I feel like this North Node with the Chiron is finally giving us a chance to have a little bit of divine support to understand what some of these unconscious beliefs are, so that we can heal and rewrite that story around the ego. So I think I would really love to encourage you guys, if you didn't come up with additional ideas that I was asking for, I would love for you guys to journal about, what is my ego like? Where is it falling on this spectrum? And what are some symptoms of what a healed ego is like versus an unhealed ego? And I think this will kind of give us a starting point, because if you are hesitating and not moving forward on stuff, if you're experiencing a lot of doubt, a lot of desire for control, a lot of fear, if you're experiencing, again, allowing other people to have too much of a say, feeling stuck, feeling like there's obstacles without moving past them, these are all signs of an unhealthy Aries. Aries is a pioneer. I pulled the Pilgrim card, which very much feels like what this is. We are pilgrimaging to a new place. And that is what Aries does best. It goes on the adventure, it takes the risk, and it's courageous, and it learns about itself in that process of taking a risk. And when an Aries is wounded, it might never take that risk. It might stay stuck. It might feel like it's unsafe and it doesn't believe in its powers to overcome things. And so it will stay in a safe place. And so I think it's important to ask yourself if there's something in your life that you've been afraid to take the leap on, if you've been afraid to fully commit to, if you've been afraid to fully believe in yourself with, or if maybe you've gone in the opposite direction and you are unintentional with your actions and you are impulsive with your actions and you jump into everything headfirst and then abandon it months later. That's also a low vibration Aries quality. So ask yourself again where you're falling on the spectrum with this Aries, and you'll be able to discover what the North Node is trying to bring you in terms of a lesson and in terms of some kind of soul completion of the next level for you. So there is a sense of needing to keep moving. This is a cardinal sign. It's about taking action, making decisions. It's a fire sign. It's about being confident, creative, expressive, believing in oneself, being a leader of one's own life. So is there some area of your life where you are not a leader, where you are a bad leader? Maybe you lack certain boundaries. Mars, which is ruler of this sign, is about saying no. It's about setting limits. And I actually was just journaling about this the other day. I can't remember exactly what I said, but oh yeah, there was this class I was taking. I was journaling about one of the comments that the teacher made, and they were asking what creates empowerment, which by the way is a very common theme for Aries, feeling empowered. What creates empowerment? Empowerment comes from having standards, expectations, and boundaries that people can then navigate with, the understanding of those things. And so it creates not only safety, but the ability to, know what I can and can't do, and to thrive and to move forward in life, knowing those boundaries. And so is there some way in your life where you're not setting certain boundaries with yourself or others, and it's creating this kind of depletion of energy? Because it's like having a river without the walls or the banks of the river flowing, and it just depletes into the area around without again being channeled. And that's the thing with Aries and Mars. It's pure fire essence. It's pure energy. Like, this is one of the most energetic signs. So if we're not channeling this into something, if we are not using our willpower, which is Mars, if we're not using our willpower and our discipline and our boundaries and our discernment and our sense of no and our sort of truth, then we are depleting our vital force. We're depleting our energy and letting it scatter and not moving things forward in our life, not progressing things. And that's what the North Node wants from us. It wants us to make progress on things. But if we're in our wounded ego, we're not going to strongly embody those things, and we're going to struggle to make that progress, like I mentioned. So never lacking courage to move towards the new is a healthy, strong Aries quality. It's about learning, growing, adapting, and seeking wisdom through experiences. It's not about having all the answers before you get started. Aries is the first sign. It just got born in an essence of the chart. And so it's really impossible and unfair to expect yourself to have all the answers before you go on a brand new journey. It makes no sense. You're only going to figure those out on the way. So having a realistic expectation with yourself to fall, to at times need to get back up and need to learn and adapt and maybe struggle sometimes. That's normal, and that's right and okay. And so I think that's also part of this process is, what am I expecting around this journey? And do I have the fortitude to keep going even if I do meet those obstacles? And that kind of brings me to my next question. If you are feeling stuck, what are those obstacles in the way, and how can you move them out of the way or move around them? How can you adapt? How can you experiment and learn from this experience? And that's going to be super important, because if you are feeling a lot of shame around this experience of being stuck, or if you are feeling shame around having certain emotions because of these blocks, you're making it so much harder to just do the thing that's going to get you to the other side. It's like you are walking on a path and then you find a boulder and then you're like, oh, there's a boulder here. I'm just so ashamed that there's a boulder here. I'm just so sad, or I'm whatever. And you kind of create this whole story and this spiral around your feelings about it. And it makes it so much harder than if you were to just kind of go back to that healthy sense of ego and that sense of leadership and that sense of courage of how can I lead my team or myself to get around this boulder and keep moving forward, never stop moving forward, having that courage. So that I feel like is a general message here. And I think that it's super important to remember that this journey of healing that's coming out at this time to give us this healthy sense of ego, it's not like the end result. Healing happens in a spiral. And each time we level through the spiral, it's like actually a cone that spirals. So we are going up and up each time, but we do re-experience things. We have to go through things again. That's why I kind of get irritated when people are like, well, I've been through that. I'm totally healed of that. And then that's not something that I see as an astrologer, because I see that we have cycles of planets. So maybe for the next 10 years, you're good with that healing journey, but then a planet comes back around and hits that part of your chart again, and you re-experience something around that topic, even if it's from a totally different vantage point. You have different tools. You're so much better at it now. There are layers and layers to healing. So that's something to keep in mind with this, that it's okay to have these experiences and it's okay to not be done with healing our ego. But this is a big leap forward from the universe, because it wants us to experience this strong, healthy ego, this confidence over ourselves, this leadership over our lives, this adventurous energy that wants to keep going and never feel discouraged on the path, to continue to remain courageous for each new beginning and for overcoming each obstacle along the way. So those are the major messages. Now let's go ahead and dive into what this is going to look like for all of the rising and sun signs. I'm not totally sure yet if I'm going to put it in this video or separately, but if I do keep it separately, then I will have all of the links for the videos down below, and I guess they'll be there for the signs anyway, so the time codes will. Okay, thanks guys. All right, up first we have Aries, rising, and sun. So for you guys, this North Node and Chiron conjunction is happening in Aries in your first house. And it's interesting because this is obviously going to be really significant for you. It's about you. It's in your sign. So what I'm seeing here is that you guys are probably having the more stereotypical overview that I gave off. That is very relevant for you guys. I also pulled the shapeshifter here. And the shapeshifter talks about the person who is maybe a people pleaser at times, who is formless, elusive, slippery, non-committal, experimental. And this energy is talking about how it can leave us maybe exhausted or needing to have a lot of integrity in order to maintain some sense of solidness. And so what I'm getting the sense of with this shapeshifter card is there's a couple messages. First, being in your first house, I think that you guys are changing as a person. You are quite literally shifting the shape of who you are into something new. But one of the other things I get, which is really common with Aries, is that there is this sense of always like wanting things to be bigger, better, faster, farther along. There is this almost like kind of hunt for the new. And that's something that I did talk about in the overview. If you haven't listened to that, definitely do. There's this hunt for the new and new and new. And I think that's a good thing when in integrity. Other times it can come out as not having fully followed through on things that are very, very significant to us, because we are, again, always kind of starting over. And I'm getting the sense that like there may be things in your life that need more of this solidness, this emperor of this is who I am. This is what I want. I'm taking leadership over this, and I'm committing to creating a solid foundation into one area of my life. So that's going to look different for all of you. Maybe some of you guys, this is an area of health where you've been off and on your health regime. Maybe some of you guys, it's work. Maybe some of you guys, it's another side job. Maybe it's with your family or with some kind of goal or some kind of commitment that you make to yourself, but then it fizzles out or you don't give it everything you've got because of something else coming up and having your attention in multiple directions. And I'm getting the sense that like you guys are coming into a phase of being a lot more emotionally satisfied and fulfilled with this 10 of Cups. For some of you guys, this could be related to relationships or family, but there's something in your life that you, as a result of this transit, are going to be so much more fulfilled by. And I feel like part of this Aries energy of looking for the grass that's greener on the other side and wanting to please others, or wanting, which is the opposite, which is Libra. But oftentimes I see that people don't fully embody their rising sign. So sometimes they will often deal with issues around it where they could have the opposite energy. So in relationships, you might either attract the people pleasers, or you might be a people pleaser, or you just might need to have certain boundaries with yourself or with others. You might need to, again, fully follow through with something. There's this need for structure and solidness within yourself that you are shifting into. And this is what's going to create that long-term happiness for you. Because I feel like you're looking for the happiness out there. You're looking for it in that new thing. And in reality, you would find it if you just kept along that same path and you stayed dedicated to that particular path. And this is, again, going to vary because I think that there is something... Yeah, I feel like I don't want to discourage you from trying something new because we are in this period right now with the North Node in Aries of things that are new also bearing lots of fruit and being this time of beginnings. I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're trying this new thing, then you need to commit to that new thing and you need to see it through. And that is what I'm seeing is like, that's what's going to lead to your happiness. You can trust the vision and the instinct that's coming through for you now because that's what's going to lead to your happiness. I see the Page of Swords and the 10 of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. This is you stopping a cycle of always trying to start over, of always trying to develop a skill, of always trying to be manifesting something, of always trying to improve your money with something. It's like, I'm going to stop the cycle of trying to restart this journey and do it new ways. Instead, I'm going to stick with one way of trying to achieve that. And that's actually how it's going to come to fruition with this Emperor and the 10 of Cups. That's actually what is going to work for you. But it's going to have to come from a place of structure and self-discipline and boundaries, but also what makes me feel most fulfilled. What could I actually see myself sticking to long term? What feels most authentic to me? And if this is dealing with people-pleasing tendencies or wobbliness, if other people are having a say over what you're deciding, this is you standing firm in your truth of knowing what feels right in your heart and what feels best for you as a person. And then it's easier for you to stick with this path regardless of other people's opinions because you know it's aligned with you on a soul level. So it's like giving yourself a chance to actually see this through to the end. And really give it all you've got is this big message of this Aries, becoming a leader over your own life, setting those boundaries, and realizing that the joy that you're looking for is on the path ahead. It's on the path that you're either on right now or this new start that you really want to start. And it's saying, don't give that up. Don't alternate. Don't just change. Don't just, let that dwindle out. And really checking in with your soul is what's going to help you know that that is the right path for you. So I hope that makes sense for you. That's what I'm seeing for your Aries. Please comment down below if this resonates. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a great day. Bye. All right, and I see a Taurus rising and sun. So this Chiron conjunct the North Node in Aries is happening in your 12th house. And this is interesting because I feel like the 12th house is generally where we store up a lot of fear, or where we have a lot happening underneath the surface in our subconscious, where we are scared of loss, where we've had past disappointments and we don't want them to happen again. The 12th and 8th house really share that kind of similarity. And that's something that I feel like you guys are healing from at the time of this conjunction. And I think that this is specifically going to relate to relationships. You guys with Jupiter in your sign are very much open and ripe to meet really significant people or to have relationships grow in your life. And that is also going to attract new people, but old fears or old patterns and things in relationships that could bring up this fear of loss, of disappointment, of rejection, of abandonment. And so I'm seeing that that's what's being healed here. With this 5 of Cups, I feel like this is some kind of past event where either you were hurt by somebody or things just didn't work out, and you kind of expect the worst at times, or there's part of you that might have up certain walls, or you might go into very Taurus topics, which is like being extremely independent and self-reliant and not trying to be vulnerable sometimes. I think Taurus can be like that. It doesn't have to be, but Taurus can be like that. It can be focused on the practical, focused on the material, focused on how to build itself up and be able to rely on itself to feel safe. But this is a time where you're kind of trying to grow outside of yourself, grow outside of your comfort zone. And one of the ways that you're meant to do that is by companionship, partnership, co-regulating, co-relying on people, not relying, but co-relying. I don't know if that's a word, but it's like you are able to support yourself already. That person's able to support themselves, but you also support each other, and you create this ability to have intimacy, vulnerability, risk something emotionally. And I feel like in the past, again, that has been maybe a source of discomfort, of pain, and that has been something that you've focused on. But I'm seeing now that you guys are creating more stability in your relationships with the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. You're able to almost like do this inner work that will help you create more emotional consistency, more emotional stability, so that you know how to express yourself, so that you maybe don't go into hyper independent mode when something or someone hurts you, or you don't try to be overly self-reliant, because you're seeing how you can be stable on your own, but you can also take a risk emotionally to ask for some kind of support. So I'm seeing here that you guys are basically doing the inner work that is going to lead you to feeling much more stable in yourself and in your relationships. And I see that also with this Lover card, that you're just coming into a greater presence, almost like this beauty of what is divine, of what is in nature around you, being more present in the moment. And this is something that you're already good at as a Taurus rising, but sometimes the things that take us out of the present moment are those things that come up from the past, where we're like, oh, I'm really having fun, I'm really enjoying myself, everything is so good in this partnership or this friendship or whatever, wherever I am. And then I have the thought of, oh, well, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Or is this too good to be true? Or even throwing a monkey wrench into something and causing chaos or causing things to be disrupted because of the desire for, or the fear, I should say, of like something going wrong. So what if I'm the one who causes it? And this is all really subconscious, because these are 12th house matters. So there's ways in which you can self-sabotage your own happiness within relationships because of this ego that may have been wounded by others in the past. And so now it's your time to really heal from that and open your heart in a much more risky kind of way, but in a good risk, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Taurus. I hope that resonates. If it does, please let me know down below. I hope that you guys have a beautiful day. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video and share with your friends. Bye. All right, up next we have Gemini rising and sun. So for you guys, what I'm seeing here with the North Node and Aries being together in the sign, or in your 11th house, I'm seeing that you guys are coming out of a period of relationship toxicity. And this could be any kind of significant relationship. For many of you, it will be friends and community. But for some of you, it will be intimate partnerships or anything like that. So that's the big message that I'm getting. And let me give you more details. So it's interesting because I'm getting like a lot going on here. A lot of kind of negative cards, to be honest. So I think you guys have been going through this over time, and this is what you're healing from as a result of this conjunction. So first of all, I got the Venom card, which is talking about toxicity. It's talking about the need to go through a cycle of purification. And one of the things that I think we can tell within toxicity is in relationships, if you are feeling drained, if you are feeling like you're stuck in some kind of cycle or some kind of pattern, and you just keep coming back to the same issues, or you just keep leaving, a hangout time with that person and you feel exhausted, or you feel like the same emotions coming up again and again, there's something here where it's saying that there is toxicity that is, that you're being kind of aware of, that you're being notified of within that dynamic. And that's what I think was going on for you at the time. I can see with the Five of Pentacles, there was some kind of relationship dynamic where it may have felt like you were coming up short in the dynamic. Well, this can look like many things. It could feel like the other person not showing up for you, not being there for you, leaving you out in the cold. You make plans, they ditch you. You wanna have some extra support during a hard time, they're not there. You have certain expectations or standards, they keep missing those, they keep failing those. There's a sense of that person not caring, not showing up for you, and you feeling the lack, and even sometimes internalizing that lack, depending on your personal journey. Other times it could feel like you feel like not enough. You're in this relationship where something that you're doing is perceived as bad or wrong, or you are perceived as not enough in some kind of way and critiqued or made to just feel like you aren't living up to certain expectations. And so there's this feeling of not being loved and supported and given your need and having your needs met within a relationship. But with this Devil card, there's something about this relationship that also likely kind of dragged on for a while, if you're even maybe still in it. The Devil tends to show where we have strong attachments to somebody. We have a difficult time leaving somebody. We have there's something desirous about whatever that person is or whatever they do for us. But then there's also something toxic about it at the same time. So it's this love-hate kind of dynamic where they're hurting us, but then they're also bringing something to our lives, or we're also attracted to something energetically within them. And it can create this feeling of addiction, this feeling of being stuck in a cycle, wanting to get out, but feeling like we keep getting roped and pulled back in. And that makes it, again, it lasts longer that way. Then we have the Five of Swords. So this scene is very combative energy, people arguing, people not getting along, people having just two different sides, and they're not really seeing the other person's side. There's an inability to come together, an inability to have empathy, an inability to truly see and understand that person's needs and meet them, an inability for people to take responsibility, to take ownership over their part in things. And it feels like this, again, where you're trying to make things work, but it's almost like it's harder than it should be. And there's a clash of wills, a clash of beliefs and tensions. And that's what I'm seeing. I feel like you guys have been in this energy for maybe a while, where relationships have been somewhat challenging. And I mean, that makes sense. Chiron moving through the sign, it's trying to bring up all the wounds and show you where, you may lack proper boundaries in relationships, where you may have lost your sense of self, or where you have had a weak ego, maybe people pleasing, everything we talked about in the overview. So go ahead and watch that. So it's just trying to show you those patterns. And this is really trying to say that it's time to heal any pattern that you're seeing. It's time to heal from this experience. It's time to recoup. It's time to rest, to meditate and reflect on this experience and let it go emotionally so that you can actually have a new start. And so that you don't keep encountering the same things over and over again as well. What I love about this energy for you is the creator, because this is an archetype that's concerned with what is next. And it doesn't worry about being in a void. It doesn't worry about having lack, like the lack that you are experiencing when you pull away from a relationship and you decide it's better to be alone. When you have that lack, sometimes it can feel really scary. You have this hole in your life where that person used to be. And the creator energy is coming up to fill the void with a beautiful art of what you're desiring to create next. Who do you want to be? What kind of relationships do you want to have? What kind of people do you want to attract in your life? What do you want that to look and feel like? That is a creator energy. So it's going to give you the opportunity to manifest and draw out the life that you want. And it's through this act of slowing down, resting, reflecting, meditating, that you can come into this creator energy. And it doesn't mean you're immediately going to have those people in your life, but that's the next phase. That's what you're creating for yourself. You're going into the void and you're getting imaginative and you're healing and you're thinking about what can be better. So that is what I'm saying. Don't forget to watch the overview if you haven't already. If you enjoy this, if it makes sense for you, if it resonates with you, please comment down below. Don't forget to also give me a thumbs up and subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, next we have Cancer, rising and sun. This North Node Chiron conjunction is happening in your 10th house of career and reputation. So before I get started on the main message of this reading, I did want to say that I pulled this archetype for you, the comic, related to this transit. The comic is about not taking ourselves so seriously, lightening up, being funny, or using humor as a way to heal. And I really like this because the 10th house it can have a lot of like pressure. We can feel like we are needing to live up to society's expectations, our boss's expectations. We need to look a certain way, perform a certain way. And again, it can be a lot of pressure that takes us out of our authenticity, that takes us out of our playfulness and our joy. And this card is trying to bring you back into that. So I'm getting the sense that there is healing in this area where you are starting to bring in more fun and more connectedness, more joy into what you are doing for work, into what your goals are, into how you're making decisions and prioritizing things. Because with this Cancer with this energy in your 10th house, again, there can be a lot of these expectations and standards and things to live up to. And it can get all very serious very quickly. And what if we didn't take ourselves so seriously? What if we healed our ego and could just enjoy what we were doing and only do the things that we really enjoyed doing? Obviously, that's not ever going to be perfectly like that, but you know what I mean. So in terms of your message, I feel like you guys are coming into a phase of having a lot of opportunities. Maybe you were in a phase before where you were feeling like career was not going super well. Maybe you were feeling behind or insecure. Maybe you feel like you weren't good enough. But I'm getting the sense that you're going to have a lot of new opportunities come to you, and then you're going to have to decide between them. Things are going to pick up really, really quickly. So one of the things that I think is strong for you in this message is using your discernment about where to invest your time and energy, because not all these things are alike. So you're going to have, again, you're going to go from this phase of maybe not having much going on and maybe taking things very seriously and feeling worried and feeling the pressure. You're going to go from that to feeling abundant with opportunities, being able to heal that feeling of insecurity or not enoughness, and be actually more lighthearted and authentic within your career. And that is attracting more of these opportunities to you. But again, I really feel like with this High Priestess and this Two Swords, you're going to have to use your intuition and your discernment from a heart-centered place of what actually is the right path for you. What's actually the right decision for you? Because I feel like, again, there's going to be too much going on, almost too many new things. And so I feel like this is, again, very clearly just saying you're going to have to pick and choose. And when you tap into your high priestess energy, your energy of spirit, you're going to be able to know what those choices are, or those decisions should be based off of your heart and your soul. So it seems like a pretty straightforward, simple message for you, Cancer. Let me just pull one more card because I feel like that was a little short. Anything else I should know? Okay. Future choice and judgment, she who divines. That's exactly what I was just saying. There's some kind of choice, some big decision that you're going to need to make for your future. And again, it's she who divines. So there's something in here where you're going to be divinely guided. You're going to know what that right thing is if you stop and listen to your intuition. So the message is just reaffirmed here for you, Cancer. I hope that that brings you everything that you're looking for. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment down below. If it resonates, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, next we have Leo rising and sun. This North Node and Chiron is in your 9th house in the sign of Aries. And this is an interesting message for you guys. I'm seeing this duality come. I pulled this archetype card that says the mother, and it's talking about how the mother both is the thing that grows us, nurtures us, sustains us, but also is the thing that holds tight and can restrict us and prevent growth. And it's interesting because the 9th house is the house of growth. So this is healing around areas that may be both, where you may be in a relationship, invested into a business or project, or completing or engaging with something in your life that is both sustaining you, either emotionally, financially, physically. It's doing something for you, and yet it's also preventing you from reaching new heights. So that's what I'm seeing, is this clear message of needing to maybe heal something around this so that you can detach from the mother. And this doesn't mean that you have to leave that thing. So let's say you're in a relationship that is sustaining you, but it's also keeping you limited. It's you needing to keep your investment into that thing while also being willing to venture out and try other endeavors that will help you grow. And you're going to have healing around that, whatever emotion that might prevent you from being willing to make that break or make that change or separate from that thing or try something new, leaving the nest. There's something here around fear of leaving the nest in some kind of way. And that nest is symbolic for, and is different for everybody. But I'm seeing that you guys are meant to not entirely just jump and leave the nest forever. It's I'm going to leave the nest and come back. And go out into the world and come back. And that's the sense that I'm getting with this King of Wands and Page of Wands. It's both the same energy of I'm in something with this King of Wands that's sustaining me. This could be you running your own business. This could be you making money through some means or doing something in your life that you are actually getting something out of. But you've mastered it. You've already gone to the king level. This is the highest level. You can't go further. And so now, with the Page of Wands, you're needing to try something new. But that doesn't mean that you should abandon this thing. You are supposed to have both. And I'm really getting the sense here that you have been fearing with this Four of Pentacles and 10 of Wands. You've been really, with the Four of Pentacles, we tend to stay in our safe space. We tend to cloister in our home or save our money or wait to do that thing another day. And we don't put ourselves out there. We don't take certain risks. And we keep our cards close to ourselves. And that's the energy that you guys have been in. And it's been really actually tiring out your soul. Maybe you've been thinking about doing stuff, but you haven't been. Maybe you know in your heart that you want to do something more, but you haven't been. But you've been not taking a certain risk in your life, which is 9th house adventure. Growing, learning, doing something different. You haven't been doing that, and it's restricting your natural vital force, your natural energy with this 10 of Wands and burning you out. And it can even lead to financial lack as well, or emotional like rigidness and unhappiness if you stay in this zone and don't venture out. And I'm seeing that's what you're going to be doing with this Page of Wands. You're going to be trying something new, going out into the world, being more free-spirited. So if you have a job that sustains you, this could be looking like getting a side job. If you have relationships that sustains you but also restricts you, that could look like you obviously still making time for that person, but then also wanting to meet new people or do new things to put yourself out there. So there's this urge to bloom and spread your wings and fly to a new place, but come back home. I also pulled the King energy. So I think that there's also an energy of becoming the leader of your own life and stepping up to the plate and being able to follow through, create this peace in your life. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is to get out of this mode of complacency or, standing behind the scenes and passivity. There's this energy here of like, no, I'm a leader. I'm taking ownership over my circumstances, over my life. I know I need to try something new. I know I need to push my horizons. And that's the energy I'm seeing for you guys that you're coming into. So I love this message for you. I'm super excited. If this resonates, please comment down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Sagittarius, rising, and sun. So for you guys, this Chiron and North Node conjunction Aries is in your 5th house. And I want to start off with the archetype that I pulled for this, which is the Destroyer. So I really feel like with this Destroyer card, there is something that it's speaking to in your life that was destroyed. Something that was maybe hard, that was, okay, let me back up a little bit. I also have the 9 of Wands. So how I'm seeing this is that there was some kind of situation that you were in that was really like testing your resolve, that was really weighing on you, that was really maybe physically, emotionally, financially taxing for you. And so there's something about this where it was like you're like in the desert trudging along one step at a time, but it's like you can't give up because there's no other option. You just have to keep moving forward. And I'm getting that sense that there's been something in your life that felt long. Like it's not just like a weekend. Like this feels like weeks, months. It's going to depend. Where there's something going on that felt like you were stuck in it for a long time. And then it came to an end, or something happened in your life where it suddenly redirected you. Or maybe part of this difficult experience was that it was redirecting you somewhere. So there's this like jolt of energy where things are suddenly broken, or things are suddenly removed, or things are suddenly cleared away, and you are now redirected as a result of that. So that could have either happened before and then you have this long journey to that after that, or you could have had this long journey and then something is redirected. Regardless, it was serving a purpose of kind of getting you out of some stuck energy in your life, having you maybe see or think about things differently, having you learn a lot from an experience, and almost come to a renewed sense of appreciation for the beautiful things in your life with this Knight of Wands, for the things in your life that have made you feel free. And I'm seeing you being freed from this shackle because you have the Nine of Wands, and then after this, the Knight of Wands. So you have this energy of I'm stuck, I'm having to persevere. I don't know when this is going to end too. I'm finally free. I feel the wind blowing in my hair. I feel creative. I feel alive. I feel vibrant. This health issue is finally gone. This relationship issue is finally gone. This financial issue is finally gone. And there's again this renewed sense of joy and appreciation for life because of experiencing that hardship for so long, and now finally feeling like you've caught a break, or finally feeling like it's at least over and that situation has finalized. And so I'm really seeing here that it's bringing you back to your joy, which is the 5th house. And it's helping you also come into a place of life where you're creating from that sense of joy. You are manifesting from that sense of joy, that sense of abundance, that sense of appreciation, and not caring over fear or lack or whatever, because you're just so happy to be at this certain phase of your life. And I'm really seeing how powerful that is for you. I also feel like with the King of Swords, you have a lot of discernment and a lot of control over your mind in many ways. I think you learned a lot from this experience, and this is going to be really healing for you in terms of your mind, because I think that it could have been traumatic, it could have been really hard, it could have been really again, weighing you down, making your soul weary. And with the King of Swords, I feel like you're going to come back stronger with this conjunction happening. You're going to come back with more awareness and with more inner resolve, with stronger boundaries, knowing how maybe you could do things differently in your life moving forward as a result of this experience, knowing how you can be more in your honest truth as well. Like if there's anything that you were not facing or not talking about, or, anything that was, again, just not addressed in some kind of way, I see that becoming very clear and becoming something that you don't have a problem speaking to. I also see the Ten of Pentacles. So some of you guys might find that you are having this big happy family, that you are feeling financially abundant, that you are feeling surrounded by people that you love and abundant in all ways. It's like you're really coming into this such pure essence of gratitude and happiness that you can really only get when you, first of all, have what you want, but also have experienced not having what you want, have experienced a contrast, have experienced a suffering. And it's from that place. You've gone from 9 of Wands, which is a suffering card, to the 10 of Pentacles, which is absolute stability, abundance, happiness. So it's like this sense of really struggling to finally feeling at ease, finally feeling at peace, or even having more as a result of that struggle. And so I'm seeing you guys, again, really kind of like enjoy life a lot more, appreciate life a lot more, and feel really grateful for the stability and abundance and the family and the friends and the things that you do have that make you feel quite secure and quite loved. So that is what I'm saying for you, Sagittarius. I hope that resonates. If so, please comment down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Libra rising and sun. So for you guys, this North Node and Chiron conjunct in Aries is in your 7th house, and that is definitely about relationships. I also pulled the Lover card. So you guys are coming into a phase of a lot more bliss and happiness in your relationships. If you aren't in a romantic relationship, which I think a lot of you guys is talking about that, but if you're not, I'm seeing you guys entering into that mode of healing a lot around your kind of love energy. So showing up with a lot more bliss in your life, feeling like you're romanticizing your life, feeling like you are in the present moment, you are soaking things up, you are letting the good in and truly receiving. And I'm getting the sense that if you have blocked that or felt undeserving or have worked super hard and exhausted yourself, that's coming to an end because of the healing that you're doing here. For some of you guys, this could also be related to your clients or people that you've collaborated with, other kind of important relationships in your life that have been, again, collaborations or communities. And for some of you, this may have been a source of disharmony at certain points, or you may have felt like maybe I'm going in this direction, this person's going in this direction. Maybe you weren't so sure if the unity was there, if it was going to work. At certain points, there was like this breakdown of, I thought we had this common goal, but actually you seem to be having this egoic reaction and I'm having this reaction and we're not really meshing together. We're not really working well together, or we are working well together, but then there's other issues. So there's something going on here in terms of like unifying, bringing together two lives together and noticing where the cracks are, noticing where the breakdown is. And I feel like you guys are, again, healing that. And I think partially it's through your own willpower with this Chariot card. You guys have made efforts to maybe talk to that person or to address maybe insecurities in a relationship, or look at the flaws or the cracks in the foundation of something, and you've made the effort with this Chariot card to address that and resolve it in any ways that you are responsible for. This Chariot card is also a card about speed, and so I feel like you were able to get over it quickly. You were able to let it go. You were not kind of stewing on it or holding on to it for a really long time. There's a sense that like okay, if there was any disharmony in this group or in this friendship or in this business or in this community or this collaboration, I am wanting to resolve that immediately and go back to this blissful energy and do my part to keep that going, and release the emotional turmoil that maybe I was holding on to before. I'm also seeing the Knight of Cups and the Star. So it feels like very healing for romantic connections. It feels like a time in which you are stepping into your energy of filling up your own cup, if that's something that you've been lacking. Meeting your needs, making sure that you also are meeting your partner's needs. This is a very kind of dreamy, idealistic, romantic, I was gonna say romanticization. I don't know if that's a word. Romantic energy where you can, I see a little bit like Don Juan energy with the Knight of Cups, but coming from a place of like, I love love and I perform love and I show up in that way, in like in a showy way. I guess that's what I'm not explaining this very well. But it's like you're truly in that energy right now. It feels like you are again happy and healed, and you're feeling hopeful now in your romantic life and your relationship life. So if there was ever some like tension, or if there was something going on with like three people, especially because I do see the Three of Pentacles, if there's anything going on with you and two other people or a group or people that you're collaborating with or working with or people in your community, if there's tension there, I feel like that's something that you've moved on past. You've addressed it the way that you could address it. And now you're coming into this really blissful energy with like things that you love or people that you love, and feeling really hopeful about the future and what is in store for you. So super blissed out. I'm excited for you guys. This looks really, really great. If this resonates, please comment down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, next I have Scorpio rising and sun. So for you guys, this Aries North Node conjunction is happening in your 6th house. And I'm excited because the cards are really showing that this is going to be such a good time for you. I first want to start off with the archetype that I pulled, which is the crone. And the crone is the eldest of the woman archetypes that has gone through an entire life, and she has seen the cycle of life. She has seen the births. She has seen the growth periods. She has seen the decay and the deaths and the rebirths and the constant cycle through these ups and downs of life. And I feel like this is speaking to you guys. Maybe you guys have gone through a full cycle yourself. Maybe you guys have been, had a new beginning and then we're growing and then something ended. And you're seeing each phase of life and taking it in stride. And I'm really getting this sense of just experience and acceptance for life, being able to not resist life. And one of the interesting parts about this card is that in this deck, it was saying the crone has a difficult time tolerating superficial, petty, day-to-day musings. She moves away from such relationships and seeks a deeper path, even if this means a more solitary life. And so there's something that really resonates with me around Scorpio energy, where there's not a desire to lie to yourself. There's not a desire to be fake about something, to be in relationship with people or things or energies that are also fake or also lying or not addressing things, not owning things, not being real about things. And so this energy can really come up when we're in a phase of wanting things to be deep, to be real, to be meaningful, because we've seen the whole cycle of life. We know what's real. We know what's meaningful. And so I feel like you guys are coming out of this phase of maybe being in some kind of thing in your life, a relationship, a job, a place that you're living at that was not addressing things or was not authentic or was not meaningful for you. And you're coming into a phase where you've moved out of that. And you're starting to align with things that are truly a reflection of what it is that you're wanting, of what it is that's true for you, of things that are mirroring your most joyful types of qualities or energies. instead of trying to make things work that just don't work, and overlooking or trying to ignore those feelings of it not working. So that's something I'm seeing. This is in the 6th house of work. So I think for many of you guys, you might be actually finding something in terms of your day-to-day life within your work, or your health, where you're doing something that is honoring your authentic nature. So maybe you're, if you have the option, maybe you're starting to adjust your sleep or your food schedule to match more of what you actually need versus what society says you should need. Or maybe you're deciding to try something new within work, or have some kind of thing that you're again working towards that feels like it's more a career path, or that feels like it's more again aligned or authentic to you. There's this feeling of you maybe in this phase of like transition, but I also feel like you're celebrating this. Like you are celebrating having this new thing come into your life, or this healing around these maybe superficial things, or maybe these misaligned things leaving your life. You're now seeing the purpose that serves to open up space for something better to come in. And that's what I'm seeing with this 3 of Cups. It's like the celebration of what is next. Maybe you have a small win. Let's say you're in a job and you're still working that job, but you're starting your own business. Maybe this is you opening the LLC, like actually forming the business itself and having some kind of win where you're making one step forward onto this path. And it feels really, really exciting. That's what I'm seeing with the Page of Pentacles. Like you're celebrating some minor but internally significant step forward. And it feels like this joy of, look at all this stuff that's possible with the Sun card. Look at all this happiness. Look at this like clear path forward, and knowing that this is right for me, feeling it in my bones that this thing is going to bring me much more substance, much more potential, because of what I'm deciding to go after. And so I think that you could be healing feelings of being not enough, being an imposter, being undervalued. That's super huge. Being undervalued, or being in some place that doesn't fit you. So they don't, they don't value you because they don't understand you. They're not looking for what you have to offer. And you're trying to fit yourself there. And it's like, or feeling like you're playing small, feeling like you could do more. It's going to vary a lot from person to person, but there's healing around this, like these types of things that are helping you get out of the misaligned situation or relationship, and helping you take some kind of step forward into a more authentic direction. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Scorpio. If this resonates, please comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, I'm going to say Virgo rising and sun. So for you guys, this North Node and Aries conjunction is happening in your 8th house. And I want to start off with the Eternal Child archetype card, which is talking about the inner child and how there is always an eternal inner child within us that is seeking joy, that is seeking its needs to be met, that is seeking to be loved, to be accepted, to receive compassion and understanding, to be, for you to be proud of it, all of that. So I feel like you guys, part of what's happening with this North Node Aries conjunction is healing around your inner child and how it could have been wounded recently especially within relationship dynamics. That's not going to be the case for all of you, but for many of you, I think it will be relationship dynamics. For others of you, it will be your relationship with yourself. Regardless, your inner child has been wounded or felt like it's been left out or criticized or something in either one of these dynamics. And I kind of really see that it has made you very courageous, but also has made you, I think, kind of exhausted with the Strength card. It's something that has been testing your faith, testing your resilience and your ability to keep going, your ability to regenerate, which is an 8th house quality, to rise from the dead of a difficult situation. And I'm seeing that with this 2 of Cups and the 10 of Swords, it seems like there is a definitive ending that you have had in relationships that you are healing from. Again, this could be in your relationship with yourself. So you could have been seeing and talking to yourself in one way. Sometimes the Two of Cups can also be like a business or something else that feels like it's really a soul alignment. There's something in your life that felt like it was soul aligned, likely a person, but if not, something else that ended. And it could have really hurt your inner child. There could have been things along that path that made you realize that you were actually kind of traumatized from that experience, or that this experience brought up trauma from your past, because the 8th house is the house of crisis and trauma. And so there's something about this experience, this thing ending, that could bring shadows up and that fear within the inner child. Then it leads to the Two of Swords. So there's something about this where it was this definitive ending with that thing, but it's almost like it didn't end within your mind. There's still the question of like, was that the right choice? Did I go about this the right way? Kind of like replaying what has already happened. There could have been just like some psychological lingering energy around the situation. And maybe even some of you are still needing to make a choice around whether or not to end this. And I definitely think with the 10 of Swords, this is going to come into a full completion where things are not coming back to life in that situation. But this card still feels like a unsureness of that, or a wobbliness of that. And I think over time you'll see that it is completing and in your best interest, because what I'm seeing from that is it's going to be healing for your inner child to come out of whatever dynamic was really testing you and pushing on maybe some of those wounds from the past, if that's relevant. And what you're getting out of this next is I got the Page of Pentacles, and then I got the 3 of Wands and 7 of Swords as clarifiers. So the Page of Pentacles is somebody who is out there kind of finding new opportunities for themselves. This could look like having new ways of making money, new projects that they're working on. Basically, I don't see this as much as relationships, but it could be that you guys are also meeting new friends, new people in your life. If this was a partner, maybe a new person, that is definitely possible. But I also see this as like mostly like, what are you actually investing your time and energy into? A hobby, an interest. Maybe you're going on a trip. Maybe you're deciding to make money in a certain way, or grow your life in some capacity through having this spaciousness now, and being able to have your inner child healed is actually going to have you experience so much more joy and so much more spaciousness that is going to allow you the energy and the inspiration and desire to go out and start new projects, or go out and pursue something that feels like an exciting addition to your life that you maybe wouldn't have done or dared to do before. And I definitely see that with the 3 of Wands. This is an energy of expansion, of unobstructed expansion, of reaching for new horizons. And this could be, again, traveling, studying, learning, which is studying, business opportunities, going overseas. This is energy of expansion, of newness, of getting outside of your existing bubble. And that wouldn't have been possible with the ties to these old relationships, or this old thing that you thought was true for you, which it was with the 2 of Cups. Like at the time, that was true for you. That was an alignment for you. That was a soul match for you. But then the 10 of Swords is a fated ending. It was always going to come to a close. And so that's okay. And I think you'll have healing around that. And then again, be able to search for the next exciting adventure in your life and have real tangible things to show for that. I also pulled the 7 of Swords, which is really interesting because this is a card of like betrayal and kind of getting away with something. And it's like a really like sneaky, like really strategic energy. So there's something about this that I think there's a couple of explanations I have for this. I feel like you're going to learn a lot from this experience around things that maybe at first seemed like they weren't a big deal, or they actually seemed good. And then you see like there was something underneath it that was actually not what it seemed. And I think those relationships, those people, those situations that ended up ending, it often was because there was something that maybe wasn't quite what you thought it was. And at the time, it was a match, but then more and more reveals itself, and you realize that there was actually some sneakiness or behind the scenes stuff that you are not wanting in your life. There's something like there's just something that felt shady about it. And so maybe it wasn't in your best interest. And so now that's leaving your life. And now it not only is it leaving your life, but you have the awareness. It's almost like you now have the computer programming like downloaded, and you're like, okay, now I can recognize and spot when this is happening again. Now I know I have the discernment to never fall into this type of relationship situation or experience again. And so I think that that's one of the biggest gifts from the Seven of Swords, is that strategy and discernment of knowing like what, like learning from a difficult situation. You could also be at a phase in your life where you are in a research phase or collecting a lot of information. I'm reading this from this beautiful book, Tarot Reversals. I like this book a lot. And so if you are wanting to try a lot of these new projects, I think also it could be talking about you having more capacity for, again, kind of learning a lot and like doing research on what you need to know for these new ventures in your life. And that could also talk about business ventures or stuff. It's like you've learned from that experience, and now you're learning even more, and you're taking that into these new things that you're doing, and you are growing and learning a lot from that. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Virgo. If that resonates, please comment down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, next we have Capricorn rising and sun. For you guys, this I almost said Aquarius new moon. This North Node and Chiron conjunct in Aries is in your 4th house. And it's interesting because I pulled the Temple card, and that definitely makes me think of the 4th house. So this is an archetype card, and I feel like that's what you guys are healing and embodying, is this energy of making your space sacred, of making your home sacred, of making your day-to-day life sacred. And I think that comes a lot from being really present and being really intentional and knowing, you know, why you're doing what you're doing, or taking things slowly, enjoying the process and honoring what you're doing. So it's coming from a place guided by spirit, guided by your intuition, guided by your emotions in a positive way, not in a fluctuating way. And having that be, again, like a sacred compass for your life. This really, it feels like this is important because with a Capricorn rising, having an Aries 4th house, there could have been a lot of energy within the home. If you have a lot of planets here, it kind of depends on your chart, but cardinal signs like Capricorn, Aries, especially if there's squares between these houses, can deal with kind of like being in fight or flight mode and being reactive to things, being like your nervous system being stimulated, and in survival mode, because Aries is about survival. And so there's something healing deep within you and within your roots that is coming into, again, more of this sense of calmness, of peace, making your life internally or within your home more of a temple, more of this sacred space where there doesn't have to be this trial by fire. There doesn't have to be this, very activated type of energy, very stimulated energy, or even fear sometimes. And I feel like that's what you're coming out of with the 9 of Wands and the Strength card. It feels like a lot of like an energy of endurance. These are both similar cards where things are, it's like we just got to push through. We just got to keep going. We just got to create the stability by working harder, by enduring, by being better. And it's like a lot of efforting, without a lot of reward, really. It feels like a lot of efforting and making it, and like almost making you hardened, rather than the sense of flow and sacredness and softness. It feels like gripping your way through life. And that's something that I think you're really coming to terms with. You're really healing, is this energy of feeling like things are, like things are hard, things that you're having to endure something that, and this could be again instilled from you from childhood, if I have to survive. And so that is either reactive, or that's working super, super hard on something, and you can't rest. I don't know what that, it's going to look different for each of you. So I don't even want to give too specific of information, but I think it would be helpful to ask yourself if there have been times where in your life where you were taught that, more work equals better, or with this Temple card, if there was just things being, again, maybe moving from one thing to another really quickly, or things feeling unsafe, or things feeling not stable, and if what you would do to overcompensate for that, what you would do to cope with that maybe dysregulated nervous system, or maybe the fact that you moved a lot, or maybe the fact that somebody at your house was somewhat volatile, or whatever that looks like. It could vary drastically and not be so intense for some, more intense for others. But there's something here where it's like it feels a little unsafe in life to just be in spiritual flow, and to be relaxed, and to be feel taken care of. And I feel like you're coming into this energy where you're healing that, you're healing your nervous system, you're healing your emotions, you're creating this sacredness in your home, and you're coming into the King of Pentacles and Chariot. You're actually going to find that you make a lot more money. You're going to find that you're a lot more stable, that things are moving a lot faster, that you have more energy, more willpower, you feel more disciplined, more on target, which was your goal all along. But it was almost like you were coming at it from a survival instinct, and now you're coming at it from a place of sacredness, and it's totally changed the game, and it's actually giving what you want, which is the ironic thing. So that is what I'm seeing. It's healing for you guys. It's actually getting you to your results a lot faster, even that abundance, that leadership, that prosperity, that stability, feeling in control of yourself, feeling control of your environment, because you're finally listening more to your intuition, to spirit. You're creating this sacredness, you're creating this presence, you're slowing things down, you're softening, you're listening to your intuition and heart, and not bulldozing yourself or just being in survival mode anymore. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Capricorn rising and sun. Thank you so much. If it resonates, please comment down below, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Aquarius rising and sun. So this North Node and Chiron being in Aries conjunct is happening in your third house. And for everybody, I've been pulling an archetype card. And for you guys, for whatever reason, I just kept getting like repeat ones of all the other groups and things that I knew was just because the deck wasn't shuffled properly. And I was like, what is going on? There was an evasive quality to it. And it's interesting because of the archetype that I pulled and some other card that I pulled. And there does seem to be this like elusive lack of clarity that I think you guys have been through. And I think that's why the card wasn't coming out, whereas every single other group, it was zero problems getting the card. So that is a message whenever there's one particular outlier on how the cards are functioning. That's a message of what you guys are going through in your life. How you maybe were kept trying to find the answers for something. You kept trying to get clarity, but there's lots of options. You didn't know what to choose. That's what I'm seeing here with this maiden card, which actually can be quite elusive and tricky. And also the third house is often associated with Gemini and Mercury in modern astrology, not traditional astrology. And they can have this correlation between the trickster and this kind of like playful energy. But I feel like you guys are coming into this new phase of something with the maiden card. And this has been like elusive to you. It's been a long time coming, not hard, a long time coming. And it may have felt a little bit challenging, but there's something that I think you guys are gaining from this conjunction, that it's going to be healing your mind around all of these options. I feel like you guys are finally going to come into a place of clarity and decisiveness that you didn't have before. I think you guys were like, I could do this, I could go here, oh, this opportunity presented itself, maybe I should do that. And the maiden is the energy of you guys saying, of already having decided to initiate something new. And it feels like the the birth of something, the very beginning of the journey. There's still a lot to learn. That's a big part of this archetype. And that's what the third house is also about. It's a lot about learning, experimenting. You are definitely very childlike in this essence, where you are, again, on a new path. You don't have all the answers, but it's like, but at the same time, you're gaining a lot from this. And I think even just knowing that you want to learn about this thing, or you want to go further into this thing, is already big. It's already really big. So I'm seeing this death of the inconsistency, the back and forth, the lack of clarity about how something's going to unfold or what you want to do with something. I'm seeing the death of that with the death in the Seven of Cups. So you guys are, again, ending this wobbliness, this indecisiveness, this lack of clarity, this how's this going to turn out type of energy within some area of your life. This is a conjunction happening in the third house of the mind, of decisions, of perspective. So I think it's healing something in you that was like just a difficult experience around having to make decisions. It's creating healing around that and allowing for things to settle down, because I feel like there's too many options, too many choices, too many possibilities. And that was something that needed to be healed. Maybe you could explore where that was coming from a little bit deeper. Maybe there was something more to that, but I'm not going to speculate on that. So what I'm seeing, you guys, now, you're the Queen of Swords. You are somebody who is decisive. You're somebody who's not bullshitting. You are direct. You know exactly what you want. You have the boundaries up. You say no to things. You say yes to things, and you're speaking your truth very clearly. I love that. It's strong discernment. You also have the King of Wands and Three of Wands. So in some way, you are an expert at something. In some way, you are going on a journey to up-level your skills in another way, or on another path, or adding a layer of complexity to something that you're already doing. But it's you with the King of Wands feeling like, okay, I've reached the end of the road with this thing. Now I'm going to venture out into the unknown. I'm going to try something I haven't tried before. And this could be in regards to any area of your life, but there's something here where it's like, I'm ready for the next adventure. And I don't know what that is even going to look like entirely with this Maiden card. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to experiment. I'm ready to put myself out there, try new things, and see what that could be possibly. But it's like, you're not even going in with super predefined notions of what this is going to be, because the Three of Wands is this energy of exploration, and exploration is not already predefined. It is innately curious. It is innately asking questions, leaving things open-ended, and discovering a lot about itself in the process. And obviously things transform each day as you discover more and more about yourself on this journey. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. It seems really exciting to have some level of commitment and clarity, even though the path is still unfolding in many ways. At least you are on a specific path. You know where that's taking you, and it feels like that's really inspiring to you and helping you evolve a lot as a person. So that is super great, Aquarius. If this resonates, please let me know down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and have a great day. Bye. All right, and last but not least, we have Pisces rising and sun. So for you guys, this North Node and Chiron conjunction in Aries is happening in your second house of self-worth and money. But what's interesting is I'm getting strong messages around relationships or situations that involve other people. So we start off with the Five of Swords, and this is an energy of combativeness. I feel like you guys maybe went through a period of time where you were experiencing a lot of anxiety, where you were feeling a little bit stressed about a relationship or a situation that you were in at work, or something going on within your community, something in an area of life where people disagreed with you, you disagreed with them, something felt out of alignment, something was causing you, again, this stress, this turmoil. It was keeping you up at night. It was feeling out of alignment in general. And with the Three of Swords, I'm seeing that this either has ended painfully or will end painfully. I hate to say that, but like there's some sense of your heart being broken, or this not ending in a happy story, in a happy way. It's like this ended with a breakup. This ended with me leaving that company. This ended with the disbanding of a friend group, or the realization that maybe this wasn't real to begin with, or this wasn't whatever. There's a sense with this Three of Swords of disappointment, sadness, and also like holding on to a lot of pain or resentment or shadows around the situation. That's a really strong message here with this is with this being in the second house. The second house is an area of simplicity, of stability, of feeling at peace in our day-to-day lives. But if we're holding on to eighth house energy, if we're holding on to toxic emotions, resentments from the past, shadowy energy towards people or around situations that have already gone down, it strips us, it robs us of our second house peace and stability. And it can even erode our own self-confidence, our own just inner peace, basically. And that's kind of what I'm seeing. I feel like you guys are in a liminal state right now, the Two of Swords. Like, I feel like you guys haven't fully processed something. You're maybe needing to make a decision or kind of figure out what you want to do about something in your life. It feels like very much in this cloudy place where it's like you need to change but you haven't quite changed yet, or you need to decide something but you haven't quite decided yet, or you need to let something go but you haven't quite decided to let that go yet, or haven't quite been able to process it yet. It feels like you're in this cloudy state, and that's actually the card that I got for you with this Bardo card. It's talking about this liminal phase, and I did want to read some of this to you guys because it felt really relevant. The in-between, the liminal, the transition. It feels like that's exactly where you guys are at. Okay. Let me see. In the Bardo, so in this liminal state, there is a potential to forgive the unforgivable, to say the unsaid, to see the unseen, to love the unloved, to let go of all the things that cause us pain. It suspends us into spaciousness for just long enough to open up to higher wisdom. It doesn't belong to this earth, but rather to the cosmic network of which we are a single thread. And when it's in light, it's spaciousness, grace, forgiveness, and truth. When in dark, it's torment, dislocation, hallucination, and transience. So there's something here where you guys are able to heal from something that has been this kind of eighth house energy in order to bring yourself more confidence, more inner peace, more simplicity, more stability. But you're in that liminal state right now, and I think that's okay. But it's in that liminal state that you are going to find that stability. And so this Chiron North Node conjunction, your second house, is trying to bring that stability, that simplicity, that security into your life. I'm also seeing that once you're able to do that, with this Temperance card, this is healing, pouring back into yourself, feeling like you are uplifting yourself in the ways that you need. Once you're able to do that, I see you coming out on top with the Six of Wands. Maybe you'll have some kind of glow up. Maybe you'll have some kind of career success. Maybe you'll have some kind of new, better relationship or new friendship. You're going to move somewhere new. It's like, it feels like there's something that once you decide to release the stuck energy, you are going to expand, you're going to bloom, you're going to have that big change. The lightness will come back into your life. But it's like you're not in the dark, but you're not in the light. You're in that liminal space in between. And so that's what I'm seeing for you guys. This is going to help you with that transition. And it is in the second house, so it might even heal you around feelings of unworthiness that this could have brought up within relationships. It might heal you from feeling not good enough, from feeling like you're behind financially, from having trouble receiving. If it created those feelings of inadequacy, it's going to heal you from that during this time in this liminal phase. If you're able to forgive these people and how they triggered those emotions within you, or whatever those things could have brought into you that disrupted your inner peace. So that is what I'm saying for you, Pisces. If this resonates, please feel free to comment down below, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye.